All right. Section 1.1 deals with making conversion factors and converting between prefixes. Now we talked about prefixes yesterday, right? What's a prefix? Where does it go? In front of the base unit, right? And then we were making we were picking appropriate prefixes for a group of numbers, and we found that to be kind of difficult, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So another way we can look at this is by converting between prefixes and bases. Okay. So yesterday I gave you a bunch of base numbers that were on the base unit, like 500 grams to 150 or 150 liters, and you guys had to find an appropriate prefix, right? Well, another way to do this is by converting. So the question is, if I have 10,000 grams, right? An appropriate prefix for this is probably going to be kilograms, right? So how do I convert 10,000 grams into kilograms?
Move the decimal place.
Move decimal places. How do I know how far to move the decimal place?
The exponent.
10 to the third. How do you know 10 to the third?
That's how much kilos.
It says on the chart, right? So on page 6 in your book, there's this special chart there, right? Right? So if you have your book, please open to page 6. On page 6 in your book, there's a special chart that tells you the relationship between a kilogram and a gram. Okay? Now on that chart, if you find kilo on that chart. Find kilo on that chart. Okay? Then find the power for me. 3. Okay, so what that chart means is that kilo equals 10 to the third. Okay? For any units, kilo is 10 to the third. Kilometer, kiloliter, kilogram, kilocandela, okay? Kilovolt, kilowatts. That was 3 rex. Okay? Kilo means 10 to the third. Okay? It's an equality, isn't it? Right? So that means 1 kilogram equals 1 times 10 to the third. Times 10 to the third what? Grams. Okay? 1 kilogram equals 1 times 10 to the third gram. Now, this kilo, right, means 10 to the third. The biggest confusion students will write is what they'll do is they'll write like this. They'll do 1 times 10 to the third kilogram equals 1 gram. Okay? Is that right?
No.
No. The reason why it's not right, this is like saying kilo twice. It's like saying 1 kilo kilogram. Okay? Because this means kilo. Right? This means 10 to the third. Okay? Whenever you're making these equalities, this is called the conversion. Okay? This is called the conversion. Whenever you're making these conversion equalities, the 1 always goes with, looking for my eraser now, the 1 always goes, oh, there's one right there. Sorry. The 1 always goes with the prefix. You're right, Amani. Okay. The kilo, right?
Yeah,
The prefix. The power always goes with the base unit. Okay? So the power goes with the base. Okay, I'll put that in times like 10 times 10 to the, we'll call it x for now. Okay, oh, there's 2 x's in there. We'll do times 10 to the 10 to 7 to the n. Okay. And the 1 always goes with the prefix. Now that is only true if you're using your table on page 6. Or the one I still need to print off and give to you. I'm working on it, guys. So that only works if you use your table on page 6 or the one I need to print off for you. Right. Are there any questions? Any questions?
Right under the power, is that times 10 to the 1?
Times 10 to the n. It's just to show you that's what the power looks like. Times 10 to times 10 to the 1, times 10 to the 2, 3, 4, depending on the prefixes. Yeah. Good question. Any other questions? Okay. Anyone else? Questions? No other questions? All right. So now, how do I convert 10,000 grams to kilograms? What do I do? Anybody remember? Move it over 3 times. How do I know to move it over 3 times? Now, if I asked you to do like grams to mega, would you know how far to move it? All right. So, what if I asked you to convert from centimeters to inches? How far do you move it then? You don't. You got to use. There's a different conversion, right? So, for prefixes, that might work. Just moving over a certain number of decimal places, that might work. All right. But I'm trying to show you a way to convert that works for everything. If I'm going from like meters to feet, if I'm going from kilograms to grams, if I'm going from grams to pounds, okay, this conversion method will work for all those. All right. So this is a fraction bar, right? Now, why do you think I want to have a fraction bar in here? So I can get rid of something, right? I'm in grams. I want to get rid of something, right? What do I want to get rid of? I want to get rid of grams because I want it in kilograms, right? So what I want is kilograms. What I don't want is grams. Now with fraction bars, the thing that you're trying to get rid of, in this case, needs to go where in my fraction bar? On the bottom. Because by going on the bottom, what are these going to do? They'll cancel out, won't they? Right? So then what I want goes on top. Now where did I get those numbers? The 10 to the third and the 1? From my conversion. Right? Here's the conversion I used. I plugged those into these fractions and set it up so that the thing I want is on top and the thing I don't want is on bottom. Okay. Does that make sense, guys?
A little bit last year.
We did it a little bit last year. Okay. I even have a little note over there in green. Maybe read what that note says. What's going on top say? Want and don't want. Okay. What you want goes on top. What you don't want goes on bottom. Yes, we did this a little bit in physical science last year. Okay. So if I do this, what do I end up with? 10,000 times 1 divided by 1 times 10 to the third. Now, if you're using your calculator, okay? If you're using your calculator, you'll type this in as 10,000 times 1 divide 1e3. Okay? Yes, you have to do that. Because if you type it in without the e, Michael, you type it like this. Second comma. Okay?
Wait, is the 3 an exponent or just normal 3?
Just normal 3. The e takes the place of this. It means times 10 to the e. Okay? But if you type it in without the e, Michael, then your calculator sees the 1 as a number by itself, and the 10 to the third as a completely different number. So it only puts the 1 underneath the division sign. Okay? So by using the e button, your calculator sees this as one full number. Alright? So your calculator sees 1e3 as only one number, so that whole thing is underneath our division.
Why does it say 2 e's?
What?
Why does it say 2 e's?
I don't know why.
That's just E.
Yeah, that's just e. Okay? So second comma gives you that e. Alright, so plug that in, what do we get? 23.2, that's not right. 1 e negative 26?
0.001.
0.001?
Yeah.
You guys are all over the place. It's
0.001.
10.
I typed it in just like you have to.
Okay. Now if you use alpha e,
I didn't do the
now did you use alpha e? Okay. Yeah, use second comma. Don't use alpha e. Okay. You got an error? Who got an error?
Me.
Let me see the money.
I think I forgot a 1. I forgot both of the ones actually.
Yes, neither one. Okay. Yes, Anthony. Okay, that's because you have power. You don't have power.
Got it.
Perfect. Okay. Divide. Divide 1. Perfect. Okay. You guys got it?
No, I need some help real quick.
Need some help? Where's your calculator?
Right here.
Let me see it. Okay, now hit second comma. Comma's right below the sign. Right below sign.
Right here.
Yep. 3. Enter. Perfect. Okay. All right. So you guys got that?
Yes.
Yeah. So 10,000 grams is how many kilograms? 10. Would you guys like to try another?
Mr. Barrett, I have a question.
What's that, Danielle?
You know how you put the 10 to the third? Is it to the third?
Yeah.
At the bottom?
Yeah.
Kilogram? Is that because that means 10,000?
That's because 10 to the third, this 10 to the third power is what kilo means.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, does this change my measurement? If I have 10,000 grams and I convert to kilograms, does it all of a sudden take that mass and make it more or less? Now, if I'm holding that weight and I call it 10,000 grams, but then Michael says, no, it's 10 kilograms, it doesn't automatically get heavier, does it? No. Why is that? I'm multiplying by 1 over 1,000. It's only changed in the unit. Why is it only changed in the unit? Because kilo means 10 to the third, right? So this factor right here is really equal to 1. Okay? I multiply by a fancy 1 to just change my unit. It doesn't change my measurement. Okay? It's exactly the same unit. The reason why I know it's 1 is because I know 1 kilogram is 1 times 10 to the third gram. If I have the same number on top as I do on bottom, it equals 1. Yes, Katrina?
If like someone would have done it the moving it way, what if people made a mistake and went to the right instead of the left?
You could.
Because I think I would have went to the right.
So you would have made this bigger?
Yeah, not small.
Okay. And that's why the conversion factor I think works better. Okay? So as you're doing these, if you're one who just likes to bounce decimal places around, make sure you're taking in special care when we get to more difficult ones you're not comfortable with.
This count as showing your work.
This will be showing your work. Okay. Alright, does that make sense? Would you guys like to try another one?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Let's do, I'm just making this up.
Not really.
Okay, someone give me a number. Any number. 0.53. Okay. Now someone give me a unit with a prefix.
Kilogram.
You want kilograms?
Megameters.
We used to kilo. Megameters, okay. Megameters. Okay? 2 meters. Okay? So 0.53 megameters to meters. So, what's my equality? What do I know about megameters and meters? What's this? What's my conversion? What do I know? Check your table, page 6. 10 to the 6. So that means I know for my table mega equals times 10 to the 6, right? Right?
Sorry.
So mega is times 10 to the 6. So that means I have 1 megameter equals 1 times 10 to the 6 meters. Okay. Take note. The 1 is with the prefix. The power, Jameer, is with the base. It'll be that way every time. The 1 goes with the prefix. The power goes with the base. Every single time. Okay. So now I can set this up as 0.53 megameters fraction bar. Which one goes on top?
What you want.
What I want, right? So this whole thing, 1 times 10 to the 6 meters goes on top. And what goes on bottom?
What you don't.
What I don't want. What part don't I want? The megameter. So the 1 megameter goes on bottom. So now my megameters cancel. And I'm left with meters, right? So can we do this work? 0.53 times 1 E6.
Okay, so there's no divide this time?
You don't have to divide this time, because you're just dividing by 1. Just the 1 is on bottom. Just the 1 is on
So
bottom.
what do you want us to do?
0.53 times 1e6. What is it? 530,000?
Can we just?
Yeah.
That's what I got.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Or I could write it as 5.3 times 10 to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So either of those I will take. Yes, Kyle?
Can we just move the decimal over 6 places?
You can, but when we get to more difficult conversions, that might not work. That might not work for you. Okay? It's like when we're converting from inches to centimeters. There's no decimal places to move.
Oh, we are
Okay.
do that?
Maybe later on. Okay.
So
Yes.
if a base unit is on top, you never have to do this.
Right. Good question. So when the base unit is on top, you have to do divide by 1. You don't have to, because you divide by 1, it's the same thing. Any other questions? No?